February the 14th of Saint Valentine, he secretly performed marriages. Page here, blossoms. Chaucer. The Victorian blue book, little retro, cute. Slide into your heart. Welcome to your online history lesson. I understand that you will be having a dinner party, which happens to fall on Valentine's Day, and you'd like to brush up on some history of the day so that you have some fun facts to share at the event. Okay, perfect. So let's get started. As you know, Valentine's Day is on February the 14th. And themed around the concept of love, but there is quite a lot of mystery surrounding who exactly the day is named after. There are a few Saint Valentine legends. Let's look at one such legend during the time of Roman Emperor Claudius II, around the 3rd century AD or CE, what we currently call the Common Era. So this legend surrounds a Saint Valentine who, during a time when soldiers had to be single and not married, went against the emperor's order and secretly performed marriages. He secretly performed marriages for lovers. And here is another image of Saint Valentine that is in the public domain. And I'll put this right here for you. Saint Valentine by Anne Tompert and illustrated by Kęstutis Kasparavicius. So let's see what it says on the inside flap here. Read a little bit from the flap. says, Anne Tompert beautifully weaves together the most enduring stories of Valentine to create a tapestry of the saint's life. Stories began to circulate after his death, including stories of Valentine performing secret weddings for soldiers who were forbidden by law to marry, and of Valentine giving comfort to those imprisoned. So, if you wanted to try to find this book at your local library, I highly recommend it. It's a great picture book for people of all ages, in my opinion. But I just wanted to show you one or two pages from it. In particular, I'm looking for the page. Yes, here it is. So here we see Saint Valentine, and he is performing a secret marriage here for this soldier, and this was during the time that the emperor made it illegal for soldiers to marry. So you can see he's offering the wedding ceremony here. And let's look at an interesting last page here. You see this beautiful tree here, and this is depicting the grave of Saint Valentine. We see some doves here. And what it says over here is that, according to legend, an almond tree, this is an almond tree, a symbol of friendship and love, was planted near Valentine's grave. It blossomed for many years on February the 14th. Isn't that amazing? You can see all the little blossoms here. Pagan festivals, such as one called Lupercalia, which celebrates the Roman god of fertility, along with the Roman founders Romulus and Remus. It was thought for a while that the oldest known Valentine was a poem by Charles, Duke of Orleans. And this was a poem written in 1415. Charles was a member of the French royal family. The poem was written to his wife while he was in captivity at the Tower of London. after he was captured at the Battle of Agincourt, he was a political prisoner for 25 years. He was a gifted poet, and many of his poems were written during his captivity at the Tower. So I have this book here called Tower, An Epic History of the Tower of London. And I checked this out of the library in hopes that the story of the Duke of Orleans would be in here. And I was lucky because I did find a section in here. So I flagged a few sentences here that pertains to today's study. So it says right here, the most exalted prisoner was the French king's young nephew, Charles, Duke of Orleans. And over here, it says, Charles put his enforced stay in the Tower to good use. Naturally of an artistic rather than military bent, the Duke, like his fellow royal captive, James I of Scotland, was an accomplished poet and composed verse in the fortress, short, delicate rondels on such subjects as the changing seasons and courtly love. At first, Charles wrote only in his native French, but as his confinement stretched from months into years, his familiarity with English grew, and he began to compose verse in that language too. And I flagged one more page here. It's very teeny, but it shows Charles, Duke of Orleans, right there, hard at work in the fortress, writing poetry. I hope you can see that. However, other facts and findings suggest that he wrote the Valentine after he had returned to France. Additionally, poetry written on the subject of Valentine's Day was actually well established. For example, in the poetry of Geoffrey Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer. I hope you can see this. See? there is Chaucer. And we'll put him right here. So, there were earlier poems written, it turns out, than the poetry of Charles, Duke of Orleans. Earlier poetry that spoke of Valentine's Day and give us evidence and a time frame. So Geoffrey Chaucer wrote a poem called Parliament of Fowls. Parliament Fowls. And this poem refers to Valentine's Day. And it is a poem of almost 700 lines, which is quite long. This poem was written in 1381, and this poem was written in 1415, so it gives us another evidence that Valentine's Day was celebrated during these centuries. The habit of sending Valentine's cards was popularized even further during the Victorian era. Some Valentines were handmade using lace and artwork and written words in the form of a poem or a joke. Here we have a Victorian Era Valentine, and it's called Barometer of Love. You can see the barometer right here, the flowers and the lace. It's like a lace frame. And here's another one. And some of them were quite funny, like this one. I have another image of this. So this is kind of like a warning type of Valentine. It says, beware of the snake in the grass. So you can see this man with his hat, but he's got a snake body and even a snake tongue. We've come to associate Cupid with Valentine's Day. And we see images of Cupid on Valentine's Day cards even today. A little bit about the origin of Cupid. The Roman Roman god Cupid is also connected to the Greek god of love called Eros. And Eros would use a golden arrow to make people fall in love. Over the years, Cupid became the little cherub we see in art and on Valentine's cards. So I'm just going to include a little bit about that here. Cupid was connected. The Roman god Cupid was connected to the Greek god of love called Eros. The Valentine greeting card in America was established by an artist and entrepreneur called Esther Howland, who lived from 1828 to 1904. Esther Howland, 1828 to 1904. And she published the very first American Valentine. Valentine in 1849. And I can show you one of her designs. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? See the rose there in the center with some rosebuds, some leaves, and then all of this tied in a little blue bow there, and some reds and blues in this design here with some lace. According to Hallmark's website, approximately 145 million Valentine's Day cards are exchanged each year. 145 million Valentine's Day cards are exchanged each year. That's amazing to think about, isn't it? Today, Valentine's Day is said to be the second largest card sending holiday. Of the year. Valentine's Day definitely stimulates the economy as people love to purchase flowers and buy chocolates, candy, and other gifts for their loved ones, and go out for meals or even take trips on this day. Some people still enjoy making cards by hand, composing songs or poems of love, or baking a heart-shaped cake. I'll show you a few retro Valentine designs while I just reminisce a little bit about my own personal reflections about the day. Is that okay? Wonderful. So here's the first of a few little retro Valentines. Isn't that adorable? It says, "Please be mine." This little bluebird here holding a Valentine heart. So, although I don't buy into the commercial side of Valentine's Day too much, I do have fond memories of making and giving and receiving Valentine cards to my classmates at school. Look at this cute little poodle with a little blue bow and a flower. So cute. Yeah, so I would give these handmade cards to my classmates at school. We would make little mailboxes and put them on our desks and then go around and slip the cards into the mailboxes. And our teachers were pretty good at ensuring that their students gave cards to everyone and no one was left out. There's another one. This one says, "Just a note to say, I want you for my Valentine." And she's saying that to the little bird. Isn't that so cute? I remember just adoring those little cards. I'd bring them all home and look them over and over on my bed, just taking them out of the little envelopes and putting them back in, and just being completely mesmerized by all the little designs and the little messages that my classmates would write on them. Today I enjoy the spirit of Valentine's Day. I enjoy the mood it can set. I like that the day extends now to all kinds of love, and to love for family members, and to platonic love, and self-love too. I enjoy thinking about the cultural significance and listening to the radio. So many radio stations play love songs from over the years on Valentine's Day, and I love to listen to the oldies and also very new music as well that centers around love on that day. Even simply listening to the radio can have such a retro Valentine feel to me. Here's another Valentine that says, I want to slide into your heart. So cute. You've got this little kitten with a green vest on. It looks like a green onesie vest sliding down the slide at the park. I want to slide into your heart. How cute is this? I hope that you enjoyed this little study of Valentine's Day and that you found it calming and relaxing. I hope that it gives you a warm feeling and some fun information to share at your upcoming dinner party. Thanks so much for listening. I wish you all the best with your event. Take good care.